Call him. Call Troy. Get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-944-33. 720-944-33. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy. 720-900-4433.
Dan Jacobs of 303 Law 4040 and Jacobs Law with another cool story to share. James called 303 Law 4040, and he's like a lot of our clients, not looking to get rich, but he just didn't want to get stuck with a bunch of medical bills. So we met with James like we do all of our 303 Law 4040 clients in person, and it's a good thing we did because we noticed James did not look so good. We sent him to the hospital to get checked out, and they did wind up admitting him. In the end, we got him feeling better and $125,000. He was over the moon. He came into the office to pick up his check and rang that victory bell. And the really cool part is James surprised us with a check of his own, a donation so we could keep the best free meal in Denver coming each and every first and third Thursday. If you've been injured, you may be like James, not looking to get rich, but not sure what to do. That's why we're here to help. Just give us a call at 303 Law 4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303 Law 4040.
Shop Denver Mattress Fantastic 4-Day Sale. The Colorado Queen now $199. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Plus 60 months, no interest, no down payment, and free shipping at Denver Mattress.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight. Taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
The Friday edition got you to the weekend. It is a Friday night version of Denver Sports Tonight. Mike Rice, Dante Gomez. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a week.
It certainly has.
It's weird. You know, it's one of those weeks where in the moment it feels like it's lasting a long time, but then you look back like tonight and go, wait a minute, it's Friday night already. It's kind of weird that way. That was my week. That was my kind of week.
Mine was similar enough, but I was pretty tired at the end of this week, and I think a lot of other people are feeling the same way. So I'm looking forward to a nice long weekend here coming up.
Little NBA All-Star Game weekend for you?
I will not be looking forward to that, but yes.
Do we ever look forward to any All-Star game?
The baseball one's not too bad. I mean, I'd rather have regular baseball. I'd rather have regular basketball. I'd rather have regular football than the Pro Bowl or any of the other All-Star games. But, the NBA All-Star Game doesn't intrigue me too much. I'll probably end up watching more college basketball or golf this weekend or Olympics. The Olympic hockey's been great. I've really been enjoying that. But, yeah, the NBA All-Star Game, maybe the three-point contest I'll tune into. But other than that, it would be very surprising if I'm watching any other aspects of NBA All-Star Weekend.
Well, RamosLaw.com text line is there for you guys, 303-713-1043, if you would like to jump on board. We'll talk some NBA, some Nuggets, some All-Star Game next segment. We might touch on a little college football before we get out of here. Say, what? Yeah, there's a little bit of discussion around the college football playoff. We'll see how that goes at the end, towards the end of the show. But we, of course, start with Broncos, and NFL.com has come out and rated. Let me rephrase that, Dante. One guy at NFL.com has rated the quarterbacks and their years. I know Zach and Phil were talking about this, but Nick Shook has put out his quarterback rankings, Tier 1, Tier 2, etc. And, I mean, it's no secret anymore that Bo Nix was down the list a little bit at number 18 in tier number 3. So I guess the first general question is, what do you think? Fair? Unfair? And this is based on this year's performances. So when Joe Burrow isn't towards the top of the heap, it's because this year Joe Burrow had trouble staying on the field, as one example.
Yeah, and that's where it gets a little muddy to me, is it's just based on that full year's body of work, where Brock Purdy, I believe, is ahead of Bo Nix. Brock Purdy missed a handful of games this year. Patrick Mahomes missed a couple games at the end of the year as well. So it gets a little muddy or murky when you're talking about just taking that year's games into account for this list. If you're going based on just overall who would I want to have at quarterback tomorrow in a football game, I think Bo Nix should be anywhere from 12 to 18. That feels about right. So not too much of an argument on my end as far as this NFL.com writers list here.
Yeah, I think 18 was a little bit low. Not a ton low. I don't think Bo's a top 10 guy. In other words, to use the criteria you just put out of if you could pick a quarterback of your team, what would your list be and how far down would Bo be? But I'll just say this, and again, Baker Mayfield wasn't ranked a whole lot higher than Bo. It's 17. I'd rather have Bo than Baker. I think that's...
Oh, really? You'd rather have Bo than Baker?
Yeah, right now, based on upside, based on team, based on culture, I would. Aaron Rodgers was 16.
That was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, okay. But, Brock Purdy I would have to think about that. I think I'd probably take Bo just because of the familiarity, just because of what I think... I look at Bo not just through the lens of this year. I look through it through the lens of his improvement over his first 2 seasons, and then also projecting what he might be able to be if they improve the roster around him, especially in the department of skill players and guys who can make explosive plays.
And I think that's fair, but if you're also... So to me, Brock Purdy and Bo Nix are fairly equivalent in my brain as far as who I would want as my quarterback. I just think Brock Purdy has a larger track record of doing it, so that's where I'd probably lean Purdy. But I think their upside is very similar. I think their athleticism is fairly similar. I think their arm is fairly similar as well. So I think they're very comparable, but you're talking about Brock Purdy. He's appeared in 2 NFC championships. He's been to a Super Bowl. I think he's basically been in the playoffs every single year, and Bo has too, but Purdy just has a longer track record of doing it. So I don't have any issues with Brock Purdy being listed ahead of Bo Nix. But also, if we're talking Bo Nix and you're talking about the projection here of you had some weapons there, and I think he'd be higher on the list. To me, if you're a top 10 quarterback, you don't really get the argument of there's not enough weapons around
Understood.
you. That's why
I get that.
you're a top 10 quarterback,
Right.
is you're there to elevate other guys. Josh Allen, nobody knows his offensive weapons. He's there to elevate. Patrick Mahomes, same thing. Patrick Mahomes at one point, after they got rid of Tyreek Hill, there was nobody around. Travis Kelce, Travis Kelce's a great tight end, but as far as the wideouts go, there wasn't a lot of weapons he had there, but you're getting paid that $40, $50, $60 million contract to elevate the guys around you. So I don't love the argument that, if you had some weapons around Bo, then he's a top 10 guy.
No, I think that's absolutely fair. And it also, what I said about the projection goes against what Nick Shook, in fairness, goes against what Nick Shook did in this ranking, because it was based on this year alone. Would you rather have had Bo Nix or Jordan Love this year? I mean, just this year.
I think I'd probably go with Jordan Love
it'd
as
be
well.
close. It'd be close.
I think that's close, but I just think I've seen more from Jordan Love in the long run. And I think he's one of the cases where he does elevate those wide receivers around him. Just slightly better, not project, I want to say, but athleticism, slightly better arm there as well. I think the ceiling, that's what I'm going for. I think the ceiling with Jordan Love is higher than the ceiling that Bo Nix is.
But again, that's not what Nick Shook did. This is based on this year, right? So I thought Jordan Love kind of tailed off towards the end of the year, and I thought Bo as the year was winding down, I thought he was better than he was early. He struggled early, and I think that's part of the reason that the ranking is a little bit lower.
No, and I think that's completely fair. And to be honest, Bo had a couple good game stretch there, but he also struggled pretty bad in that Kansas City game. He struggled a little bit in that Chargers game the last 2 weeks of the year. But I'm right there with you. He wasn't great early, wasn't great in the last 2 weeks, but he had a phenomenal stretch there. And even with the struggles, I'll include the Giants game, that Philly game in there. I get that the final result were wins for the Broncos, and I get that he had fantastic fourth quarters in those games, but there's a reason that he had to do those miraculous comebacks. It's because the offense wasn't scoring a lot of points prior to those quarters.
Yeah, absolutely fair. On the RamosLaw.com text line, where's Drake May on the list? I don't think I'm ready to put him at the top tier of quarterbacks because of the way he played in the playoffs and who he played early in the season. Well, I was going to get to Drake next, and he's 4. He is in the top tier, the top 5 quarterbacks, top 6 is tier 1. Trevor Lawrence 6, Justin Herbert 5, Drake May 4, Dak Prescott 3, Josh Allen 2, Matthew Stafford 1. I will be brutally honest with Drake May. I was really impressed with him through the regular season, and then the playoffs came, and I was thoroughly unimpressed. So do I think he's a good quarterback? Yes. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure where he stands for me personally. He's really good. If I were the Patriots, I'd be excited about him. But in the playoffs, Dante, he disappeared and he turned the ball over. I get there was some weather. I understand that. But the turnovers in the playoffs against better defenses, he did not stand out. He did not do what you said a moment ago, which was elevate guys.
No, and that's a completely fair assessment of Drake May in the playoffs. I will add that he faced 4 of the top 5 defenses in his 4 playoff games. I'll also point out, and I know people aren't going to want to hear this, he played 4 playoff games this year. The only teams that get to play 4 playoff games in a season are the teams that are in the Super Bowl. So,
yeah.
And I get that that's more of a team thing, and I get that there's an asterisk with the game here in Denver, but still based on the results of the game, he got to play in 4 playoff games. So I will add that to his side at least. But no, he did not impress me in the playoffs at all. He did not elevate, and I don't want to come up with an excuse for the guy, but there are rumors that his shoulder was a little banged up. He had to take a shot before the Super Bowl game specifically. There was a report about that. So I think that let's wait until next year to fully judge him and his playoff performances because it's just such a small sample size at this point.
Speaking of Drake May, as we just talk about quarterbacks and this ranking from Nick Shook of NFL.com, Drake May, this is from the 0301. Drake may very easily come into next season still seeing ghosts. I don't think he will, but it's always a possibility with what happened to him in the Super Bowl and the entire playoffs. I don't think he'll fall off a cliff, but what was he caught on camera? One of the sideline cameras caught him saying something along the lines of, "Man, this is hard." Like, I don't know if it was the Houston game or the Denver game, and then in the Super Bowl, Dante, in the first half he looked completely lost. So again, I'm not ready to say Drake May can't play. That would be an overreaction. I don't think that's true at all. But I'm trying to figure out how far along he really is based on what we saw against, as you acknowledged and I agreed with, the much better defenses in the postseason.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you get labeled a top 10 quarterback, a top 5 quarterback. It's because you're able to overcome when you're facing those tough defenses. Matt Stafford, I believe he's number 1 on this list, right?
Yeah, he is, yes.
Okay. Matt Stafford, for as tough as the Seahawks defense is, he looked pretty dang good against the Seahawks. The game in Seattle on that Thursday night, the NFC Championship game, I know they lost that game, but it wasn't because of Matt Stafford. He threw for a bunch of yards, threw for touchdowns. He had his team in the game there, and the difference between the way Stafford looked against the Seahawks and then the difference in the way May looked against the Seahawks was completely different. So I don't think it's fair to have those two guys in the same tier at this point. And I think and we talked about this on Monday after the Super Bowl, I think it's a little embarrassing for the league that Drake May almost won the MVP, the regular season MVP over Matt Stafford, especially when you compare their performances versus, we'll call a top defense in the NFL there.
Here's how I think, summarize where I stand with Drake May. He's got farther to go than I thought he did through the regular season. That's the way I would summarize.
I think that's a fair way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, he can play, but he hasn't arrived any more than Bo has arrived. He just hasn't. And I'm going to be really interested to see what New England does through the offseason because right now I'm much more excited about where the Broncos stand in pretty much every area than the Patriots. I just am. And the quarterback situation is included in that. I thought Bo was a little bit low, and this is again just discussion, food for thought. It's an opportunity for those of us in Broncos country to chew some things up and chop some things up, I guess maybe is a better way to put it, and talk about our guys versus the other quarterbacks in the NFL. I also thought I mean, it was so hard. I thought Caleb Williams at 8. I mean, I look at some of the guys above him, just directly above. 7, Sam Darnold, Trevor Lawrence, 6, Justin Herbert, 5. Man, Caleb Lawrence, unlike May, who sort of tailed off as the playoffs came, I like what Caleb Williams did. Did I call him Caleb Lawrence?
You did call him
Caleb
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm not familiar with Caleb Lawrence.
Yeah. Caleb Williams. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Dante. Of the Bears, I thought he was definitely ascending as the regular season ended. He caught his stride there around midseason and was a huge reason the Bears made their run. He did,
and he impressed me to no end, to be honest. I think it's fair to put him in the top 10 quarterbacks at this point, and he's one of those guys that has an incredibly high ceiling as well. So I'm excited to see what year 2 with Ben Johnson looks like, with year 2 in that system, and him just mastering that offense, hitting, like you said, that stride in the back half of this year, continuing that into next year. Because there's a reason he went number 1 overall. It's because he has unique talents that honestly, maybe no other quarterback in NFL history has had. The combination of his athleticism and arm talent and accuracy, and the accuracy was an issue at points throughout the year, but his big playability is there. So I'm excited to see what Caleb Williams looks like going forward. And he's one where I think it's fair to put him above Bo Nix. I know they're both only year 2 into the league, and I know Caleb Williams didn't have the best rookie year. It was okay. I think it was actually an underrated rookie year that he had last year, especially when you throw in the fact that his coach got fired during the year, and very inept operation there. So I think that Caleb Williams, the playoffs really had his stock rise. You look at that game against LA, they could have been in the NFC Championship taking on Seattle very easily. That game went to overtime. They had the ball in overtime with a chance to win. So I'm excited to see where Caleb Williams goes, and I think that's a good spot for him on the list, number 8.
Yeah, I thought he came on, and I thought he showed himself to be a really good young quarterback. I'm just looking up some numbers on Lawrence because we had someone on the RamosLaw.com text line, Caleb from the 0301. Caleb Williams had almost a 50% completion rate. One of the only reasons I think he's being ranked as high as he is because of Ben Johnson and because he makes really incredibly flashy plays. Well, that's part of it. I mean, you make great plays. That to me speaks to it. He was at 58%, which is a far cry from 50. It's not great by NFL standards. I would absolutely acknowledge that. The last 4 games, he was markedly better. He had 2 of his 60+% games as far as percentage goes. Yeah, look, is he a finished product? No, he isn't. Did I see improvement out of Caleb Williams? I did. And I thought, that the one play against was in the playoff game. Oh my goodness.
Was that the Packers?
I think it was. I was going to say
where
the
he
Lions,
rolls left on, I think it was like 4th and 8.
Yes,
and he rolls left and made that throw.
Yes.
That was one of the best throws I've seen in the last
crazy.
decade.
That was absolutely insane. None of these guys, I'm talking about the younger quarterbacks, Bo, Caleb Williams, certainly Jaden Daniels, whose injuries derailed his season. None of them are finished products. They're all Drake May, obviously. We talked about him. They're all still trying to figure a lot of things out.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw Mina Kimes, ESPN personality there, football specifically. She did a redrafting of the 2024 quarterback class. Did you see this list?
I did not see that.
Okay. Do you want to give yours, and I could tell you how it compares to her list? So it would be.
I'd have to think about.
Okay, I can do mine
yours?
first.
Yeah.
I think it's Caleb Williams is number 1 still.
I'm with you.
I think Drake May is number 2.
I'm not sure about that.
I would have
right off the top.
Bo Nix 3rd.
Bo might be 2nd for me.
I would have Jaden Daniels 4th.
That sounds. The injuries.
But that's part of the game. Being available is part of the game.
That's
to me.
true. That's true.
And then 5th and 6th don't really matter too much. But I would probably go Penix 5 and JJ McCarthy 6.
Yeah, those guys are clearly behind the other 4.
Yes, yeah. There's a clear line there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would probably take Bo too. I probably would.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
again,
May
I'm biased.
Daniels 3-4.
I would have to take May over Daniels just because of the injury and the health. Durability is the word I'm looking for. Than I mean, I'm thinking of Daniels' rookie season. It's hard to get that out of my head.
I mean, that was something special.
It
But again,
was.
if you can't be on
I
the
know.
field, that's
I know.
you know,
That yeah,
goes into the equation. So she actually had Bo Nix fourth, which I think that's fair to have some complaints about if you're Broncos country and you're reacting to that list. She had Jaden Daniels third and then Bo Nix 4, which I don't know how you come up with that. I guess they've both been in championship games within their first 2 years, so that's a little similar there. But Bo Nix to me just represents a lot more consistency, and is Bo Nix, we were just talking about, wasn't that consistent this year, and he's still more consistent than Jaden Daniels. I think you know what you're going to get when you go into a game with Bo Nix. I don't necessarily feel the same way about Jaden Daniels sometimes. I think the ceiling's very high, but I think the floor is a little bit lower than what Bo presents. But either way, it's shaping up to be one of the better quarterback draft classes, I think, in recent years.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. Here's my take on the national perspective of the Broncos. I don't think, by and large, the national media finds the Broncos believable yet. I just don't. And it's borne out in anecdotes or examples like you just gave. I mean, and I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just telling you what I'm observing is that people will say, well, the Broncos won all these close games, as if you don't get any credit for finding a way to win when you might be down big. There was inconsistency out of Bo and the Broncos. Anybody who's followed the team with, even halfway paying attention would know that. But they always seem to get docked for that inconsistency instead of getting any measure of meaningful credit for being able to overcome some of those inconsistencies, show the growth, and ultimately do what NFL teams and players and coaches are paid to do, which is win games. Is it going to happen next year? No, I don't think it's a guarantee. We saw the Chiefs fall off in close games. We know the Broncos, at least theoretically on paper, based on this year, should have a more difficult schedule. And they play a division like the NFC West, which will be no cakewalk. So which is why Sean Payton is absolutely right when he says you start all over. You don't start from where you left off. But the Broncos don't. To me, I do give them credit for finding ways to win. I think that's and we talked about it all year, Dante, as that became a piece of the Broncos' identity and their very fabric. Is what quality would you rather have other than more than, hey, my team finds a way to win. They don't always look good. They don't always play well. There's a lot to, left on the field in a lot of areas. But, man, they were 14-3. That's pretty good.
So would you take that as a slight that Bo Nix is ranked low in both of those quarterback rankings we're talking about here, that the Broncos are the third favorite betting-wise to win the AFC West next year?
I take it as something of a slight, absolutely.
Okay, and do you think that's people not watching enough Broncos games? Do you think that's people thinking what you're talking about, the close games are going to revert back? Do you think that's people saying the reason Bo Nix is so good is because of Sean Payton, or it's the defense, or where do you think that slight comes from?
I think part of it is that the Broncos were inconsistent and yet found ways to win close games on a regular basis. And again, I have no way of knowing exactly what the thinking is for Nick Shook or Mina Kimes or anybody else. But I would, and this goes back to the point I made a moment ago, I think they're not playing consistently well to be believable on the national scale yet, on the national level. So what is consistently well? Well, when you play an inferior team like the New York Giants at the time, you don't fall behind 26-8 and have to score 33 points in the fourth quarter, as one example. And I think there is a degree of fairness in that skepticism, but I think I just choose to look at their resourcefulness, the fact that they're resilient, on and on and on. Now, will they do it against next year's schedule? I don't know. I mean, nobody really thought the Chiefs were going to fall off to this degree to where they had the 9th pick. A lot of people thought, okay, that they might take a step back, they might get dethroned. Nobody expected that. So who's next year's Kansas City? Is it the Broncos? I don't think so, especially if they improve the roster and improve the offense. See, that's and the Sean Payton argument, well, yeah, there could be some changes in the play calling, but when you look at the two options right now, Sean Payton and Davis Webb, that's continuity in the coaching staff for Bo Nix. So I'm trying to figure out, like, do I get all worked up over the slight? No, because we haven't even gotten into one transaction in the offseason yet, other than futures contracts. But do I think the Broncos should get a little more respect? I do, generally. Do you?
I don't know where I come down on this, because I'm with you that you win all these close games, and it's hard to believe that you're going to be able to repeat that magic in the following season. And I think it might take another season to become truly believable, where a lot of these other teams that we're talking about, and I get the Broncos made the playoffs last year, but they kind of snuck in there as that 7 seed. But Herbert's multiple playoff appearances, Jordan Love multiple playoff appearances, Jared Goff multiple playoff appearances there, Matt Stafford obviously. You can go down the list. Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes. So I think it's one of those where they just haven't been on the scene quite long enough for these people to really, truly believe. And then I also think it's a part of what you're talking about, where when you face these inferior opponents, people want to see you blow them out. Whether it's the Jets game, that Jets-London game was way too close.
Another one.
You talk about the Raiders game on Thursday Night Football. That game was way too close. So you got to go out and prove it a little bit more instead of just eking by these bad teams. And I get that you can eke by the good teams. No one's going to question you winning an overtime game against the Bills. No one's going to hold the fact that game went to overtime against you. That's a fantastic win for the Broncos. But can you go out and blow out the inferior teams, the Giants, the Raiders, the Jets? You really shouldn't have to come back in this miraculous fashion to win these games. So I think we'll learn a lot about Bo Nix in the Broncos next year when we'll see. Is it the same thing over again? Are you going to be in these tight one-possession games that hopefully, you win a lot more of them than you lose, but that's not always the case. Like you mentioned the Chiefs. The Chiefs, that reverted this year, where they won all those close games last year, and then this year wasn't quite able to happen. So I think next year we're going to learn a lot, and that's when if the Broncos go out and win 12 games and Bo Nix is still 18th, then at that point, to me, it would be a slight.
From the 7710 on the RamosLaw.com text line, Nix is brittle. I mean, should I be the one to tell him?
You can go for it.
Okay. Started all 34 regular season games in his first 2 years. Started one playoff game last year and one of 2 this year. So he's missed one game in his Broncos career. Is the ankle something to monitor? The ankles, sure. I think it's something to monitor. I'm not really at the level of concern at this point, but I get it if some people are. I'm not sure I would say he's brittle based on just strictly the numbers. Guys get beat up in the NFL. And yet, what did you say earlier, being available?
That's one of the important abilities that guys need to have.
All right, we shall see. The offseason is upon us in the NFL. I am so fired up. We're going to have to do this in future weeks, and there's plenty of time to do it, but just looking at some of the free agents and some of the trade possibilities and then the draft at the skill positions, to me, it's wide receiver, running back, not in any order. Wide receiver, running back, tight end, and inside linebacker. In fact, you know what? We're going to pop out some names. Let's do that next on Denver Sports Tonight.
The champ! Are you ready? Do you consider yourself a super fan? Well, now's your chance to prove it. It's Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan Super Fan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040, sending you to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. A pair of 2-night event tickets, airfare, and hotel all included, plus a $500 Visa card. So get in the ring and enter now at denversports.com/superfan. That's denversports.com/superfan.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, 2-time world champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer. There is nothing more important than your health.
This February, save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
Hoops in Hamilton on the DU campus is intense this season.
And the Denver Pioneers have scored more points than any game in program history.
The threes are flying and the atmosphere is electric. Join us to create a home court advantage as conference play heats up.
Goes down low, feeds Wysocki, up with a two-handed dunk.
Group discounts and one-of-a-kind experiences await. Denver basketball. Get your tickets today at DenverPioneers.com.
Winter isn't over just yet. In Colorado, your furnace has one job: to keep you warm. If it's been a while since your last tune-up, you're rolling the dice. Stoke here. ROX Rocks Heating and Air is local and honest. Get your furnace tuned up before the cold settles back in for only $39. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today or schedule online. Keep your home warm, keep your family safe, but only with ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh my gosh, you'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Helzberg. Just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Helzberg. Shop in store or at Helzberg.com.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. I just made one of the best decisions of my life. I got rid of my glasses. I went to Cutarelli Vision and had refractive lens exchange, RLE. I wore glasses for distance vision, but I got to that inevitable point in life where I was always needing those reading glasses just to do about anything, and half the time I couldn't find them. Seeing menus, texting, reading my computer, or studying film, it was a struggle. But now I see the world perfectly near and far without any glasses thanks to Cutarelli Vision RLE, the perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. Dr. Cutarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures. You can trust him to know if it's the right time for you and RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consultation at coloradorle.com. Cutarelli Vision, RLE, no readers, glasses, or contacts, or cataracts. coloradorle.com.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
Mike and Dante rolling on a Friday night. Hope you have great weekend plans. A little bit of a low-key weekend with football in the rear view. NBA All-Star, air quotes, games. We may get to that here before the end of the show. Want to jump into some possible Broncos transactions, some addressing the needs they have. So, Dante, tell me first if you agree with this. And it goes to the position groups that I mentioned before the break. On offense, tight end, running back, wide receiver, and on defense, inside linebacker. Would you say that those are the 4 primary areas of need for the Broncos?
Yeah, and I think you could add a couple. I think safety. I think the safeties could use a little bit of work. You can maybe even throw cornerback. I don't know if Riley Moss is the future cornerback too here in Denver. And then I think you could also throw D-tackle into there as well. I think the Broncos could stand to just get a little bit more mass on the D-line. That way teams don't have as easy of a workload running the ball against this Broncos defense.
Okay, fair enough. So we throw in every position now.
I
we might as well.
3?
Yeah, we might as well, which I love. I love it. Okay, so pick, when we're talking free agency, your top 3 positions in order of importance for the Broncos to address in free agency.
Specifically in free agency?
Yes, because that's the first step here. And we've got lists of names and lists of guys that could be potential targets.
Number 1 and far away number one here, running back.
Okay.
I think you have to address that through free agency. I don't think you can afford to go through the draft again and wait for somebody to develop. You got to get somebody that's proven and can come out and do it the second they step into the room. So I think that's easily number 1. Number 2, I'd go inside linebacker for similar reasons as to what I just stated. You don't have time for someone to develop. You got to get somebody that can come in here and make a big difference, ready to go. I'll just leave it at those 2 because I don't know if free agency is necessarily the answer at some of these other positions.
Okay. Our top 2 are the same. We did not compare notes. Yeah, running back's just obvious. And there aren't a lot of great ones on the market. And we've done this, but we'll do it again. These are some of the better-known running backs. Not saying they're all possible targets, just running backs that have been out there and have had some degree of success that might interest the Broncos. Travis Etienne, Rico Dowdle, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Of course, we know J.K. Dobbins is on that list, and Javonte Williams is on the list. I don't think they're going to go after Javonte, but I think it's possible they bring J.K. back, but that won't be the only veteran addition to the running back room. Of those names, who tops your list?
I think I'm going to go Travis Etienne. I like what Etienne does. Oh, you give me an interesting look there.
I'm a little surprised.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I like what Etienne does. I think he's a weapon catching the ball as well. I believe he's gone for over 1,300 yards for 3 out of his 4 years in the NFL. He's young as well. I think that's, when you're talking about the running back position, that's very important to factor in. You don't want to bring in a 30-plus-year-old running back to be your answer. I think you want to stick with somebody maybe in their mid-20s, and he fits the bill on all of those aspects. So I'd like to see what Travis Etienne looks like in this offense.
Yeah, I would lean towards Breece Hall. A little bit younger. The value, the market value as projected by Spot Rack is higher and substantially higher. I still think a lot of these, I think Etienne would be considered a top-end running back free agent. I think Breece Hall would. I think Rico Dowdle very well could be in that category. And I think most of those guys are going to exceed the market value as determined right now by Spot Rack, because you get teams that are in bidding wars that have needs. Do I think the Broncos are going to go crazy? No, but I wouldn't mind seeing them overpay at least some for a running back. They have got to deal with that room. The next one to me is inside linebacker for a lot of the same reasons you mentioned. Here's why tight end would be third for me, because there are, in my opinion, a handful of really good options for free agent tight ends. And I think they're going to go get one, and I would love to couple a free agent signing with even potentially a first-round pick if the right player is available, or if they could potentially trade up to get the right player. I know Field Yates of ESPN came out with the Broncos taking Kenyon Sadiq of Oregon at number 30. If he were there at number 30, I would, I think, fall out of the very chair I'm sitting in right now. But, I mean, some of these names, I don't think they'll be interested in David Njoku, but he's a bigger name and had some success that will interest other teams. Dallas Goedert, Tyler Higbee, Kyle Pitts. I mean, there are some tight ends. Isaiah Likely has gained a little bit of traction. Could he fit with, the Broncos? To me, they have to sign a tight end in free agency. I just put that priority third because I just think the pool is a little bit bigger.
Is bigger at tight end.
Yes.
See, I actually think the pool is bigger at running back as far as free agents go. When you said there's a handful of guys in free agency at tight end, I think that was putting it pretty lightly. I think I'd only be interested in 2 or 3 of these guys that are free agents. I have no interest in David Njoku. I have no interest in Taysom Hill. I have no interest in Zach Ertz.
But I didn't mention any of them.
No, I know. I'm just looking at the list of free agents here.
You don't want Foster Moreau? I don't know.
Oh, you're being sarcastic.
Yeah, I am. Actually, I am. I mean, watch that be the guy that the Broncos go
and
get.
It could be. And to be honest, a guy like that actually, to me, would make more sense in pairing a lower-paying veteran with a first-round draft pick. I don't think they're going to go out and pay Dallas Goedert a lot of money to be here. I think Tyler Higbee interests me a little bit. He's a little older, but I think he could be a good fit to kind of usher in the next tight end for the Broncos. But a lot of these guys, I just don't have too much interest in. And I think if you go tight end, you want to get somebody younger that is more athletic, has a great catching ability out if you split them out wide as well, which Sean Payton has had some pretty productive tight ends in his career. And I think you're going to find that guy in the draft versus going out and paying big money for somebody in free agency.
Yeah, I don't know that you have to. I don't know what big. I mean, Evan Ingram got what I would consider big money at tight end. I don't know that the Broncos are going to do that. I don't think they're going to get into a bidding war for, say, Kyle Pitts. But I mean, if Goddard's estimated market value from Spot Rack is $6 million a year, is that big money? It's good money. I don't know that it's big money.
I don't think it's huge money, but that probably means 2 or 3 years on that deal. I don't think you're getting for 1 year $6 million. And I like Dallas Goedert a lot. I have a personal connection to Dallas Goedert. I'd love to see him here in Denver. I just don't necessarily think that's the way this coaching staff is thinking about addressing the position, especially after last year's, is debacle too much? when talking about the way they addressed tight end last year. I think after last year, that kind of scared them off of going out and spending money on a tight end. I think they know they need to go out and address it in the NFL draft.
Yeah. Well, and I think they will. I just would love both. I think the position is that important. And again, then it brings up the whole Evan Ingram question, and is he back? Is he not back? I don't.
Would you want him back?
I think so. I think so. I think you bring him back and you say, we've got to figure out a way to use him better. And I understand the drop rate. It was way too high. I get that. It wasn't just, as he said afterwards, well, that's out of my control after the season. I wasn't basically ... I wasn't being used in the way that was good for me and my production. Well, I think there's probably some truth to that. But that's not the entire story, and anybody who watched the Broncos all year knows that. I do think tight end could very well be their first-round pick. But it depends also on how the draft breaks, who does what. I mean, should they reach for a tight end if they stay put at 30? No, they shouldn't reach for the tight end if the one they truly don't love is worthy of being in that slot.
Should they trade up for a tight end?
I think yes. I think if you can trade up to get Sadiq. Now, I mean, you don't go crazy, but you trade up
8 spots?
Potentially 8. Again, they've got, 9 draft picks? So, yeah, I think that could very well be an option, and I would love to see it. Here's my take on the wide receivers. There's a lot of talk about, signing a bigger name wide receiver in free agency. I don't think the Broncos are going to invest big money in a wide receiver in free agency. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to trade for George Pickens. And I know that, I don't think they're going to go after a guy like that. I think there's some other guys that could be interesting signings at wide receiver. We'll get into those as the offseason goes on. But just generally speaking, I think they'll try and upgrade the room more through the draft or through like a mid to mid plus level veteran. not an elite veteran.
I feel the same way. You just never seen it in Sean Payton's track record to go out and spend a lot of money on a wide receiver that's not already in his building. Obviously, you saw that with Cortland Sutton this year. You've seen that with Michael Thomas down in New Orleans. But those were guys that were already in his building. I don't see him going out and spending big money on a wide receiver free agent this year. I'm with you. I think either you go out and get one of those mid-level to maybe mid-plus a wide receiver, or you address it in the draft, or you just let your guys develop. Pat Bryant, 1 year in. Troy Franklin, 2 years in. I think there's some room for growth with both of those guys still, so I don't see them going out and spending $100 million on somebody else to come in here.
No, when they spent $100 million on Cortland last offseason. And I think he's going to be their top expenditure at that position. I just want to throw one name out as far as wide receivers, because his previous annual average value was $18 million. His spot rack projected market value as far as AAV goes is 5.3 plus this year. He is an 8-year veteran who will be 30 in the upcoming season. Would you be interested in Christian Kirk?
That actually seems like the kind of wide receiver that would fit with what they already have here with Cortland Sutton, because he does a lot of different things than what Cortland Sutton does. If he's your number 2, that's not a bad spot to be. I don't think he's an elite number 2 by any means, but I think he's an average number 2, and I think that actually would make a lot of sense here with the Denver Broncos.
Just tossing it out there. I
haven't heard that name connected to here, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, that to me is sort of the mid to maybe in a good year he's a mid-plus type of receiver. Again,
he did get some good money, I want to say, on his last deal.
Yes, he
and
did.
I don't think he's going to get that kind of money again.
No, and if the projections are anywhere close, he's not going to get anywhere close to $18 million a year. But I don't know, 5 or 6. Again, I don't know if Sean is going to go out, and I would not predict that he and George would go out and spend big money on a receiver. But then again, that's what the offseason is for. The NBA season is at the midway point, unofficial midway point, with the All-Star break. We'll check in on the Nuggets and the festivities in L.A. next.
Should the Broncos make a move for Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens this offseason?
He is a bona fide sports team cancer. I don't care how many catches he gets. I don't care how many yards he puts up. The last guy I want to bring in is a guy like George Pickens. You kidding me?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over 1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to CarShield.com. That's CarShield.com today.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-7098.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-7098. That's 800-575-7098.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents
on Team World. The second game, Team USA Stripes plays the winner of the first game, and in the third game, Stripes takes on the loser.
Oh, so it's like round robin.
Round robin. And then after the third game, the 2 teams with the best record will advance to face each other in the championship game. If they're all 1-1 after the third game, point differential is the tiebreaker. Here's the other big point. Those round-robin games are 12 minutes each, so it's the equivalent of 1 NBA quarter, and I mean, there's incentive to blow the other guy out because of point differential.
Or you could argue there's incentive to lose by a lot because you don't want to play the extra game in the championship. And maybe you can hop on a jet during the championship game. Like, hey, we're heading out of, where is it? It's at the Clippers Arena this year?
Yeah, in L.A.
Yeah, so, yeah, maybe they're thinking, if we don't make the championship, that means, 1 hour more down in the beaches in Mexico.
Oh man. You've got the NBA figured out.
I mean, it wouldn't be that surprising. We saw it in the MLB All-Star game, I'm pretty sure. I went to a swing-off, and half the guys had already left the game because they had already been pulled from the game. And these guys wanted to get a little head start, I guess, on their vacations.
Head start to Cabo.
Exactly.
Right. The All-Star break Cabo trip. Does this interest you any more than, the 200-plus point ridiculousness that we saw in the past?
It interests me more, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be dialed in. You know what? I like the format change enough to where maybe I'll give it a chance. Maybe I'll start off watching it. I'll see how competitive it is. But if it's anything like what we've seen out of previous All-Star games, I will quickly change the channel.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone's truly dialed in to the NBA All-Star game.
No.
I don't think those two things go together.
I think kids can enjoy it, and they don't know any better, and they're like, oh, wow, look at all these dunks and threes and stuff. But if you're looking for competitive basketball, I think you are better off watching some college basketball over the weekend.
Yeah, I remember when the dunk contest was a thing. Not so much anymore. Dante, enjoy the weekend, and enjoy the holiday on Monday.
You as well, Mike.
All right, that's Dante Gomez, Mike Rice alongside, and we thank you for joining us. Enjoy.
Real quick, before we get out,
yes,
Jamal Murray is going to win the 3-point contest.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on Zach's train. Let's go. Let's go, Jamal.
Okay.
I'll let you guys handle the wager. That's going to do it. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. It's Denver Sports Tonight on 104.3 The Fan.
Tune into The Rundown with Richie Carney every weekday at noon on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Presented in part by The Birdie Bar, Louisville's premier indoor golf bar experience. Check out this week's live music, trivia, and other fantastic events at thebirdie.bar on the web and Instagram. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Hey guys, your boy Mark Schlereth here. Denver is Truck Month only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, where every new and pre-owned truck comes with a spray-in bed liner included. That's right, every new truck, every bed protected. Plus, take advantage of deeply incentivized programs on all the new and pre-owned trucks, including the new Silverado and Colorado, with offers designed for their customers to take advantage of. Work harder, play harder, drive smarter. Only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, your trusted partner in automotive.
Free barbecue. Yep, absolutely free barbecue. Hey, everybody, Dan Jacobs, the barbecue lawyer at 303 Law 4040. It's 2026, and we are taking our free meal program to the next level, and I want you to help spread the word with me if you can. I got a brand new smoker, and this thing's a beast. It's over 6 feet tall, so we can cook that 1,000 pounds of free barbecue each and every month. Here's what you do. It's Eastern Hills Community Church, 4 to 6 p.m. every first and third